guys, it's JLite here, and today I'm gonna share some tips on how K-pop groups can improve their MVs. I'm just gonna share the tips directly. So enjoy and please sub. Every year a lot of groups debut with only a few getting fans. I, as an underrated group fan, thought that I know every single underrated girl group, but I keep finding more, which proves how many underrated groups are there that I and many others don't know about. So here are 7 tips that I think companies can use for creating good MVs without having to spend a lot of money. The first tip is camera quality. I know a lot of groups can't afford an expensive camera, but the company can at least save up some money and buy an inexpensive but good camera. Like if you look at the advancement of technology, a lot of companies are making products at more affordable prices with more features and less money. So there must be some inexpensive cameras that make videos in good quality. If the company could possibly save up some money and get a good enough camera, they can get a good enough and uploadable MV that could grab the attention of K-pop fans who look for good MVs. Here are some girl group examples whose MVs are amazing even if the quality of the camera isn't high. The second tip is camera angles and different scenes. When a company shoots an MV, they can get some different scenes and good camera angles. I've seen groups like White Day and Blue Fox whose debut songs are just performance MVs, and there could be more groups who just have performance MVs. IDK. So what I'm saying is when a small company shoots an MV they can get a good one by recording and editing different scenes at the location they're at. Get the members do something. Like play around with things at that location, have fun with the members do something. And for camera angles, they can get some good camera angles of the group and members when they're dancing and singing, from which they can edit all the scenes together and get a good MV.
Yeah, yes, we need some quality time. Away from it all. Take me far away, 멈추지 않아, 새로운 널 sample.
This can actually help because it shows the MV like a short film or something, which even if it's not a high quality one it can still bring in fans. Here are some girl groups with amazing MVs with different scenes.
To say I love you, 좀 더 용기 내봐. 다가와 이 밤을 기다려주지 않아. 우리의 사랑이란 이름 뒤에 가려진 어두운 욕망.
신선하게 보여줘. 내게 눈을 뗄 수 없어. 아직. Like a flamingo, fa la la la. 너는 특별해 뭔가 달라. Like a flamingo, 색달라. Like a flamingo, 뭔가 달라.
The third tip is related to the second tip. This tip is giving the members some solo scenes. The company should make MVs where everyone is in one scene, and then add some solo member singing scenes or dancing or anything. Because then the members each have a spotlight to shine under in the MV. This is a great way to have an MV that has a lot of scenes, and an MV where each member gets to shine equally and no members will get more screen on time than the others. Here are some girl group examples that follow this perfectly. The fourth tip is location. Companies should try and find a good location. Like a nice abandoned building or a park or a room in a house or a church or just an open public space with a lot of scenery and perfection that could give the MV some nice aesthetics. Companies don't really need to spend a lot of money to make locations when they can just use the locations in their own country, city. It makes it much easier to shoot at a place that doesn't require much money or is free. Here is one girl group who filmed on an island named Boracay, which is I think in the Philippines. The fifth tip is props. Companies don't really need a good high-quality shot MV. They just need a good enough MV with a lot of scenes and a lot of props. Like props is in some nice lights or a table or a chair or some furniture or some toys or some jewelry or a ball or anything that could add some aesthetic to the MV. Whatever things the company has in their building or whatever the members have in the rooms they stay in also can be used. Anything that can make the MV feel full and complete is good enough to use in an MV. Here is an example of a usable MV with props. The sixth tip is video editing skills. Companies should have some basic video editing skills and should maybe get a video editing software that has different features that they could add some effects and make a good MV. Like companies should try getting Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut or Adobe After Effects and edit some nice but funky edits into the MV. Here is an example of what these softwares can do and what I mean. This can help a group a lot. Though the softwares can be hard to use, it doesn't matter because there are a lot of helpful tutorials on YouTube that are in any language you need. So I'm sure there's a few tutorials in Korean. Companies can use this and make a lot of fancy professional edits with these softwares and get a good MV if not the best MV with these edits. Here are MV examples.
You're my soldier. You're gonna be my soldier. 해도 참 멋져 손 네가 미워
그날의 차가웠던 모든 기억들 이제는 지워버리려고 해 머리 날겠는데 또 생각처럼 내 맘대로 잘 안 돼
이렇게 아파
너가
Baby you're mine Baby you're mine Baby you're mine
The last tip is filming in a 16:9 aspect ratio and keeping the brightness at minimum levels. Now the only reason I say this about filming in a 16:9 aspect ratio is because there's one girl group Lati, whose company shot their MV in a ratio that is not 16:9. Also their MV brightness was high at some parts. And with the brightness issue there are two girl groups My Darling and S2U who both debuted with amazing songs and MVs, but their MVs were kinda bright at some parts. Here are the MVs to show y'all what the MVs look like.
너 때문에 뜬 눈으로 밤을 샜잖아 Oh baby 아침이 너무나 빨리 돌아왔잖아 이제는 네가 날 바라보면 baby oh my love 두근두근 네 맘도 알고 싶어 love you baby 늘 처음 본 그날부터 난 딱 알았어 눈에 알아봤어 yeah
The mixing of Blati's Thump Thump was also not that good, but I'm only talking about MVs in this video. These MVs actually are produced and filmed really well. But Dramatic, Z's and Thump Thump all had some sort of brightness that was a little too bright at times, and Thump Thump was filmed but uploaded in a resolution lower than 16:9. So basically these groups' MVs were already amazing, but these small things ruined it. If companies learn to keep the brightness at an equal level no matter what quality camera is used, then the MV would be fine. And I know most groups film in the 16:9 aspect ratio. But I wanted to mention Blati, because the 16:9 aspect ratio is the normal YouTube video ratio. So to end this last tip I wanna say is that having the MV the right breadth, width, length, size, and brightness helps the MV become better and more watchable. For me I keep saying that I don't care for MV quality and it's true. but for many, they seek for a good MV. So doing these will help the MV be a good one and the group will get more fans. In conclusion, if groups from small companies who cannot produce a high-quality MV, gets an affordable video camera, finds a good location, adds different scenes plus member solo scenes, adds props, uses video editors and adjusts brightness while uploading their MV in a 16:9 aspect ratio, then they can get an MV that attracts more fans. And yes, I've seen girl groups with good low-budgeted MVs who haven't gotten the views needed, like Maka Maka, Ariel and Floria. But there have been groups with good low-budgeted MVs who have gotten amazing views, like Botopass, ICIA and AZM. So my video was made to show that groups can improve their MV even without a big budget. A lot of groups have done amazing MVs with low-quality cameras and some good editing, and even if these groups haven't gotten any good amount of views, the MVs are still well produced for me. Well, that is all for today. Bye.
고맙다.